Everyone is guilty of liking candy. Whether it's a sweet chocolate bar or a sour little gummy, we've all got our favorites. As much as we love candy, we can all agree that it's not the healthiest thing for us to eat. But just how bad can it be? How would you feel if you knew that some of these sweet indulgences could put you 6 feet under? So today, I'm going to tell you about the banned candies that can kill you. 1. Candy corn. Candy corn is probably one of the most hated Halloween candies out there. It is the most hated Halloween candy, at least in America, according to a survey done by CandyStore.com. Despite its hated status, a lot of people can't celebrate Halloween without candy corn. However, these devilish candies might be more of a trick than a treat. The reason is pretty simple: it's not a very healthy candy. But this particular one has some ingredients that make it even worse. You see, most of the natural ingredients that claim to be in candy corn have actually been replaced by artificial and chemical versions of them. This is mostly to reduce the cost of production and to increase profit. Even brands that list real honey in their ingredients have their fair share of high sugar levels. A serving size of candy corn, which is about 19 pieces, contains 28 grams of sugar. But that's not the only issue. Another key ingredient, the coloring yellow number 5, has been linked to rare, but sometimes, severe allergic reactions and also runs the risk of being contaminated by cancer-causing substances. So, definitely the perfect spooky candy for Halloween after all. 2. Nestle Magic Ball. If you're a 90s kid, then you definitely know about the Nestle Magic Ball. These big, hollow milk chocolate balls were extremely popular, and could likely be found on just about any kid's wish list. Kind of like Kinder Surprise, the magic balls came with a little surprise toy inside. Usually, a small, plastic figurine, such as a Disney or Pokémon character. However, the magic product was unceremoniously taken off the shelves in the late 1990s, much to every kid's disappointment. But why? In the US, it's illegal to sell any candy with a toy or a non-nutritive object embedded inside of it. Parents were also concerned that the toys inside the chocolate shell presented a choking hazard and thought that kids would have trouble telling the difference between the chocolate and the toy. Nestle insisted that the toy was safe, but ended up withdrawing the product anyway. In 2000, Nestle re-released the candy with a new name and a new concept. They were now called Wonder Balls, and instead of toys, they were filled with candy instead, but that idea didn't stick around for very long either. 3. Hersheys Take 5. Hersheys Take 5 is the perfect thing to tide you over. Take 5 is probably one of the most unhealthy chocolate bars on the market, mostly because of its outrageous ingredients. Among the lengthy ingredient list of this bar, you can find partially hydrogenated oil, most commonly known as trans fat. Trans fats can upset the balance between the good and the bad cholesterol and has been linked to diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Hersheys Take 5 also packs one heck of a sugar punch, since sugar is listed as the first overall ingredient. You should be wary of the regular size bars in particular, which contain a quarter of your daily recommended saturated fats. However, because of consumer backlash, the company's working toward removing every GMO product from their chocolates and getting rid of artificial flavors. 4. Tamarind Lollipops. Tamarind Lollipops, as amazing as they might be, have been banned from the US market for the same reason the toxic chew bars were: lead. We all know how ingesting a lot of lead can damage your brain and the central nervous system, which can cause severe learning disorders, and in some cases, even death. Only this time, an incident happened that made authorities act fast and swift. The lead poisoning threat came from an imported tamarind candy lollipop labeled as the Dulmix brand Bolorindo. The California Department of Health Services began investigating the soft, dark brown tamarind fruit candy lollipop after a 2-year-old Orange County child was found to have very high levels of lead in a routine blood test. It was discovered that the child had eaten the lollipops prior to his visit. 2 other cases of lead poisoning have been associated with this candy, so it was eventually banned. The candy wrappers, which some children often lick or chew, contained almost 22,000 parts per million of lead. The sticks contain about 400 ppm of lead, and the candy itself about 2,000 ppm. 5. Smarties. This particular brand of powdered candy might still be available, it just depends on where you go to school. For instance, if you go to Scarborough Middle School in Maine, then chances are, you will not come across Smarties. Smarties look pretty innocent enough, they're just little candies. Sure, they look, and kind of taste, like medicine, but that's not really the problem here. The problem comes from kids snorting the candy. Yes, you heard that right, snorting. Kids would go to the back of their classrooms, crush up a couple of Smarties, and sniff them up. Not only is this behavior extremely alarming, kids trying to recreate the act of, well, taking another type of substance that some adults take, but it also comes with its own health risks, like with any other powder going up your nose, really. These risks include asthma attacks, long-term breathing problems, and even nasal maggots. The last one is pretty rare, but it can happen. But Smarties isn't the only candy kids like to sniff up their noses. The principal of Northern Hills Middle School in Michigan announced in 2011 that any sugar candies such as Smarties and Pixie Sticks would now be prohibited, as children like to smoke them. Crushed up and then re-rolled into a cigarette, they were getting inventive. It was better to just ban these candies altogether. 6. Toxic Waste Nuclear Sludge Chew Bar. The Toxic Waste Chew Bar was a candy imported from Pakistan, and its claim to fame was its extreme and unmatched sourness, and apparently, its ability to kill you. The nuclear sludge variety was launched back in 2007, but was discontinued in 2011, after some health concerns were raised. After conducting a lot of tests, the FDA deemed it unsafe to eat, and recommended that the nuclear sludge chew bar not be consumed anymore. The candy was wrapped in bright yellow caution-like tape, and the company's website featured the screech of a blaring warning horn. What did people expect? The results were in, and the US distributor of nuclear sludge chew bars began recalling the candy after a significant level of lead was found in the bars. Almost 3 times the accepted lead levels. No one had been sick from eating the candy yet, but the FDA said the elevated lead content could potentially be harmful to small children, infants, and pregnant women. So, in a case of better safe than sorry, it was pulled and banned from the US. 7. Haribo Sugar-Free Gummy Bears. In early 2014, the world learned how much harm a handful of gummy bears can do. That's when the internet caught on to the Amazon reviews for Haribo's sugar-free gummy bears, which revealed the considerable colon damage that a serving size of these treats could cause. As The Atlantic pointed out, the culprit behind the gummy bears' bodily onslaught is the sugar substitute lycasin. Listed as the first ingredient in the candy, lycasin is a hydrogenated syrup that's been clinically studied and is considered safe to eat. But lycasin consists mainly of maltitol, a well-known sugar alcohol that is almost as sweet as sugar. The problem with maltitol is that it is not fully digestible and ferments in the gut. If eaten in excess, side effects can include increased flatulence, loose stools, and diarrhea. According to studies, even just 40 grams of maltitol can cause gastrointestinal responses. That's the equivalent of 15 gummy bears. Suffice to say, it is very easy to eat 15 gummy bears in one sitting. Due to the media attention and the very poor consumer reviews, Haribo has since discontinued this particular dangerous bear. So, eating these can be dangerous. Therefore, think twice before you or especially your child eat these sweets.